OJ, you good?
He's having
Issues.
technology issues.
Mm.
Manje host akaita technology issues.
Yeah, but
Zvato
it's
zvezesa akatodzinga.
why is he?
It's a joke, man.
Arutambura. Otherwise, kuruseko.
Kuri ball. Unenge uchingopisa. Wolves iri kunyura shamwari.
Wolves renomba.
Lost
At
8
this
games
rate,
and
yeah.
varongopa red cards. You know, they're getting red cards when it's not necessary.
I think it's the same guy who's getting the red cards. I think it was him who got the
Handiti.
last red card as well.
Nah,
So
he needs to sub. Ngamise pabench atambise mumwe munhu.
exactly, you need to start someone else. Yeah, because at this rate, I
And
don't
what
know
I
what
don't
you're gonna
understand
do.
is they get a lot of money for a guy like Cunha,
Hmm.
but you don't replace him. No, you see,
Yeah,
my coaches here in UK, this is where you realize some of these coaches, I don't know what you're going to You lose a guy like Cunha, you need to replace him with someone almost like him.
like for like, yes. It
Exactly.
was
You
just. It
can't.
wasn't just. It wasn't just Cunha. They lost also eight Nouri, isn't it? Those were probably
Exactly. I
two of their
Nuri,
best players. And
two of their best
Semedo, I
players.
think he
And who
left
does
as
he
well.
replace them with? Oh,
So I think they lost quite a number of
oh.
guys, and they were not replaced. And now they want to sack the coach. What do you expect the coach to do? You see, without the tools, what can he
OJ
do?
asikudzwika. OJ, we can't hear you. Apa, ndozvezesa akanzi produce magetsi usina pasina mapower station acho.
I know. Neratimbona kuti zvinosvika kupi. Spurs Chelsea about to start, and I don't know winner.
Meno. Ndiyo imwewo Spurs iyoyi. You know, you still Harry Kane.
Yakatanga mushe
You don't get a
season.
striker in his mold.
Kolo Moane.
Palace iri kurova kumana.
Palace kurova.
Kolo anogona manje. You see, Kolo problem yake ndeyekuti he's been on and off the field, and that move from PSG when he was fit pakati I want to go to Juve instead of Spurs the first time, that mistake yakaita manje. Because when he chose Juve over Spurs, obviously some of these players ukazodzoka kwavarona kuti wauya kuno kuboost the other team haichakuda, you know, because you didn't want us in the first place, and which is true. Hauna kuya. So it's a bit, you know, these I think these players and the agents avoga, they need to, if you're a player and you feel that you've gone down, and if you feel you need to come back up, ukanzi team iri on a lower level, where go there, so that when you go there you reignite you reignite your standard, and then you come up again. Zvekuti dzimwe top team, you get to a top team top team yobva yakuti chamwari ibva kunoku something dense, confidence, dense your mind chaicho inanga kuti handichagoni zvekudaro.
Exactly. Ndatopera era man.
So ndo zvanakolomwani izvo zvezvo.
Yeah, but let's see. And he only just got fit. Akatamba one game, so let's give him time.
That's what I'm saying, kuti let's just
Zvirizai
chimupe nguva tione kuti how far.
Yeah, that's better now.
zvakamira sei?
So. Kuzobatika.
Yeah,
remember tichikura ZBC,
technical difficulties.
remember tichikura difficulties will return soon.
Who returns soon? Mawa.
Kana pataiba bhora kuSABC yobva yaisa
yaipesta
chisairi chabuda.
Zimbabwe always be Zimbabwe. Tinombobura. Otherwise, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Indeed.
hapana emazuva ano tichi hanzi paburwa hombe
Pavhurwa hombe.
pavhurwa hombe togara tingovhura hombe chete
Tinobura isu.
hombe todzidonza.
Indeed. Yeah, otherwise City murutamba nhasi here kana mangwana?
Mangwana neBournemouth.
Oh, Bournemouth.
Kick off.
A win for Bournemouth, that one.
Yeah, very likely, but Haaland we have something to say about that.
Yeah. Doesn't he have a slight knock from last week?
Nah, he's perfectly fit.
He's good. Okay. Yeah, you should
see,
score
what I
because he's my captain.
Oh no, on
what I like about
I went bold. I went with Gabriel.
Okay. Did you score?
No, he had an assist and a clean sheet.
Wow. Yeah. So that's many points for you.
Yeah. So at least that front worked out.
Ray, which team do you support? Do you support Spurs or City?
Tottenham. I'm not a glory hunter. I support Tottenham.
Okay. How did that come about?
Yeah, it's a long story. Darang loved football. So Darang was from Mashonaland. Mumzang was from Matebeleland. So Darang was liked Mashonaland United. You know that team is Mashonaland United in Davy. Zimbabwe Saints. Yeah, in the Mashonaland United Juror. To Zimbabwe Saints. Yeah, was Mashonaland United Juror. I knew about Epson Sugar Mguyo. Ndichiri mfana. Darang used to speak about him. Of all the players he spoke about Sugar Mguyo. So we knew Sugar Mguyo then tichiri chiri vapfana tinganomboziva kuti ndiani kuzotanga kuzomutsvaga kuti he's a face akatamba South Africa akatamba kuAmerica Epson Mguyo Sugar. And then mom zangu vari vechillers, so half the family was Highlanders, half the family was Saints. But Ngarang liked he liked watching football. And then there was and then my late older brother Aitamba Heinz Fungai, he used to talk about Glenn Hoddle a lot. Glenn Hoddle panatanga kuzovaona naGlenn Hoddle nana Chris Waddle. Zvangogara zviri zveSpurs. I've always Spurs, just Spurs.
All right. Yeah, Spurs does have style, so that's good.
And you, how did you end up at Liverpool?
At Liverpool. Well, my dad supported Liverpool. Yeah, my dad is now in his 80s, so of course you can guess he would have been my age is supported Liverpool. So my dad loved Liverpool. One of my brothers also loved Liverpool, and I was still young. The first player that I really knew Liverpool was Michael Owen. He was like my first superstar. Of course, there were others, were there, but Michael Owen was my superstar. So from then on, yeah, I just started liking Liverpool. Yeah.
I thought it had something to do with John Barnes or something like that.
No, no. John Barnes takazoona towards the end of his career. So I wouldn't say it's John Barnes really. But of course, from kuzonzwawo vamwe, then you get to know John Barnes. But tikada kuzokudza kuti ndakanyatsomuona ndichinzwisisa bhora, no. No, I just knew
I
that
think
was
that
John
time
Barnes.
you must have been young, or we were
Yeah,
young that time.
yeah.
But I watched Liverpool a lot that time. I
Okay,
was a kid because my uncle used to watch Liverpool a lot, and I liked Ian Rush.
okay.
Ian Rush a lot,
Oh,
and
Rashi.
John Barnes. Ian Rush and
Yeah,
John Barnes. I like those two players.
okay.
But then I left all about football,
Yeah,
forgot everything about football, and just focused on other things.
okay. Nah, that's interesting. Okay, looks like the other two guys have dropped, but I guess
Mhm.
we can as well start the conversation. So from last week, I think during the time that we were doing the episode, the boss was sacked. Michael Nees was
Mhm.
sacked, and
They decided to sack him.
yeah, that was a
Yeah.
bit surprising for me, given that I thought could if they wanted to sack him, they should have done so probably after Rwanda and give the other boss more time.
Some time to prepare. You see,
Yeah,
this is the thing that we say, like Zifa, they never learn. You see, everything is always last minute. Like we agreed when we last spoke about this issue, like you said, probably the best course of action was to let Nice continue until after the tournament. And then because whoever you're going to give that job to, he does not have time to prepare. He doesn't know the players. He's just gonna find who he's got at the tournament.
yeah,
He doesn't know what this player gives him. He doesn't know what that player
yeah.
gives him. You'll be relying on maybe going back to videos and looking at
Video
videos how they were playing.
analysis.
You can't prepare for a tournament like that. If you're expecting to be serious, to be seriously considered, or to compete against the top teams, you have to
Mm,
have better preparation than that. But so you see, at the moment we got to past Rwanda and they decided to keep him,
mm.
Chimsiaripo. Let's just go with that, and then we know we'll take what we get with him.
Yeah,
If he gets 3 draws, if he gets what, you are already not satisfied with him, right? So, and you don't know. Look, the process, how long it's taken them to find a replacement. Why fire him when you don't have a replacement?
yeah. That's strange. It was very strange.
If you don't have someone ready, why sack him? Why are you sacking him? Yes, we agree he needed to be sacked. That's not to be disputed. He needed to be sacked. The timing of it is what is questionable, whether it had to be right now or after the tournament. Unless if he does exceedingly well in that tournament, then probably you can extend with him with the 6 months and say, okay, let's see if this wasn't a fluke.
So the next coach already has an excuse.
Yes, he does. That, oh, I was still getting to know the players.
Yeah,
So, no TG. I didn't know the players, and that's a
yeah,
point.
yeah. I just had 2 games to prepare. Then
To prepare. Yeah.
yeah, he's.
Don't say 2 games yet. He hasn't been announced yet.
You think I think they would make sure they announce him before the Qatar games and um
That would be great. That would be
yeah.
great if they do.
Ray, you dropped. We're starting talking about. We I think on the last podcast we had agreed that okay, Michael Nees has obvious shortcomings that we've seen in the past 12 months, but If we wanted to sack Michael Nees, why didn't we do so maybe after the Rwanda game to make sure that the next coach gets these next games? And also, why would you fire Michael Nees without his replacement when we are so close to a tournament? Uh, doesn't it give the next coach an excuse?
You see, we are we have a never stop gap. We've always been on never stop gap solutions. We don't have proper solutions. We always short gap solutions. But the roof is leaking and it inotanga iri drop instead of us kuti it's either we are sealing that point iri kulika or we are removing the whole thing and replacing it and it tira kunama and patinonama instead of using the proper stuff we are using chinhu chinobva chichidika and then chiramba tichingovhara that same thing and then it becomes too big and then when it's too big to close netrinapon whatever takuti no tadi kubvisa roof yese but hauda kubvisa roof yese yaka kwakunaya manje kwane torrential rain. This is the problem. We just don't have vanhu vari we don't have football administrators and who are really well versed in these matters. You see, vese vanouya kubhora vaise vaya. You need to understand this is a gravy train. Thing inonzi gravy train. Yekuti people just want to jump on it and they jump on the gravy train because of what they can get from it, not because of what they can bring to that train to keep it gravy. You understand? This is a Zimbabwean thing. 1 minute, pasina ningi, when that person comes into power, pamberi naye but nezuro waiti pasina munhu here. So where's your loyalties? Where's your loyalties? Where do your loyalties lie? So whether Nis went or not is not the question. And I think it's good that he's gone. He had become too cocky for his own good. He had become untouchable for his own good. And the other problem for Kuti, you see, as fans, we don't know when to separate club affiliation and national team affiliation. We don't do that. Kana ndiri munhu wekepska ndikaplay kepsi tamba chero achitadza sei I don't want to see that. Ndakuti aramba achingotamba ndechikuti akocha ari bho ari kumutambisa. The same applies to a player from every other club. As long as player awiri kutamba aiwa kocha ari bho. No, coach has bho. Let the most competitive, the most technical guys play rather than kuti tingotambisa kuti like right now pane makambobvunza nyamba Sean Fusire anamba Sean Fusire vaya these are the boys who should be being called right up right now. Those vafana vaya vanofana kunge vachitodaidzwa. When we're looking at AFCON, we should be looking at DMA, we should be looking at Mfana Fabishu and Mfana Padera. Those should be our first and foremost first choice DMs. Pakati pavo one of us to start. Achisabhurwa nemumwe wake. Aya mafesi edaya kumana mafesi edaya enhingaya. Vakomana vevatata vanotara nemabhosi vari muchanging rooms uyana uyo ngavambomira handiti tisa fana vane nzara vafana vane nzara boys who want to play boys. Look at this guy anonzi anoi Maclebon. He's just called out kuti I'm ready to come and play handiti we know he's not I don't know kuti ane club here. Are you guys aware kuti ane club here?
Yeah, I think
he's playing for Southend. Yeah. It's English League, Chico something. I think is it below League 2?
I think National
League. Yeah, just below League 2.
Yeah. So the thing is, if he's playing competitively, if he's getting his sharpness back, bring him on board. Not because he plays in the UK. We've seen what he can do. We've seen what that guy can do. We've seen what he can do if he's active in his game. handiti let's bring a coach and asingazofonerwa kunzi uya kuofisi kwangu gara apa and then achingonzi every game raanoenda anongoona game yeteam 1. We don't want a coach like that. What kind of coach is that? And then we go back nyakambotaurwa naKelvin Mushi yayo kuti when you bring in a coach, a self-respecting coach chekutanga. 2, don't bring in a coach asina wealth inokunda kumana vaanenge achikocha, especially muZimbabwe, especially I'm sorry to say, but especially a Zimbabwean coach. And nothing against these guys, but imagine munhu anouya kuzokocha team iyayi, and Kevin akatudza nakamba is wealthy, told us that boy is wealthy. Obviously kumana knowledge msona those guys vane mari vave nditomutiwo havandadza kumudza mumbasa iri kuti ko mudara zvakamira sei vomuti you think he's going to drop them? We all know. If you've been in the Zimbabwean game setup yebhora, you can tell even if you go to a new team. Zvaitozikanwa kuti vasvika new team vaitozobvunza wabva kupi iwewe. First question ainzi wabva kupi. Why are you asking me kuti ndabva kupi? Are you interested in where I'm coming from? Are you interested in what I can do? The first question was always wabva kupi. You see, that mentality is ingrained in us. It's deep ingrained in us. So you can't bring Mono who grew up in a setup in that mentality. That's why, Pito, right? Pito no dura for whatever reason they want to give. But I'll tell you what, if Pito was to come, I'm telling you, you'll be shocked when one died some team here. You'll be but I know the name Niku, you are not Niku paid. Pito's good died there when I'm single and I know what drill that guy. I watched him North Africa is not friendly for guys from Southern Africa. Whether you play or you're in that mean. Kito went there. Even players in that team questioned him. Players questioned him. He even told one player, do you even know me? He said, the cocky Egyptian guy, no. Should I know you? Maybe you should. Check my history when Chitamba, check kuti ndinani. Players vakatomboti mfesu uyu executive vikati no, we give in to these guys gatinokwara vakati is the coach even ndobva atida kuti vakomana 3 havambomiswa vambomira kuside dambokocha ava akaexplaina his reasons why akadrilla team iya ikatanga kurova mafirst 3 aya vakazodzoka vanoti hatitambe apa vakauya vakaapologize and then he brought them back in. That's when they respected him. That's why they got more South African coaches now. That's why they went and got out the guy, Coach Sundowns. Yeah, it's because Pito is that kind of a guy, right? Pito is that kind of a guy. He's not the guy umahumbo kuti pakadai jepfunde. Anzokudza kuti ningi handisikuda. He will tell you straight kuti ningi handisikuda. That's it. But I know that I'm the coach. If I lose, it's on me.
Yeah.
So Nees kwenda kwake, it doesn't matter. Nees kwenda kwake, it was over time he had gone. That guy, younger Garissa, had overstayed. It become too cocky, too arrogant for no reason. What matters is who are we bringing in now?
Yeah. Welcome, Bolas. Bolas is my brother, guys. And Black Heavy. Do I move to Blazong?
Did you say? I'm going to be off camera, but then you can say I'm about to make something urgent. Yes, but I can hear you and I'll be participating. Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Bolas, we're just discussing the sacking of Nees. I find it strange that we have fired Nees so close to AFCON, but without having a replacement ready. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I'm one of those people vanogara vari padebate kuside rangu ndega paissue yaNees iyoyo. The timing pachokwadi chaipo was wrong. Nees time yavakamudzinga iyoyi zvine effect hombe kuma players, because if we look at Nees kugadzira kwaanga aita team nekugadzira relationship kwaanga aita, sorry just a second.
Maybe how you
Okay,
can.
yeah,
You can
sorry,
oh, you're back. Okay.
Sorry, I'm back here. Yeah, so I was saying, Nees angagadzira relationship yake neboys rake rere, and I do believe kuti zvoni uri kuona our team yeye yanga yaisa trust pana Nees. Of course tanga tisina finishing, tandisina magoals kumberi kwedu ndokwanga kuchifira chitima chake chaNees, but aifanira kusiiwa Nees opedza the tournament kuavoida confusion yatopo izvezvi iyoyi. Ukona confusion yatopo yezvinozvi gents haisombori yefani, ezvinozvi nhasi tasarwa ne50 days dzekuti AFCON itange. Tine 2 crucial friendlies ari kufanira kutambwa ipapo. Now the new coach ari kuuya ane tactic yake, ane the way yake yaanocommunicata nemaplayers, ane the way yake imagine kuti zvoni kwakuya, let's say tapiwa coach akaita sacoach wedu weHighlanders we Dijong wemadrama ake, tapiwa coach akadaro, tine 2 weeks dzekuti tiende kuAFCON. Chii chanoitikeko? A total disaster. That's a recipe, a total disaster. Yeah, I'm totally against it. Yes, Taidama win, but the timing was wrong. They were supposed to leave him to continue the tournament. Yeah, the way I see it, well, obviously we can't wish our boys kuti we can't wish them bad luck kana kuti zvoni kuti vatipe mabad results, but reality chaicha ndeyekuti kuti coach neteam zvibatane izvezvi pa 2 weeks dzasara dzekuti tiende kutournament ka, it doesn't exist. Ndochokwadi.
So do you believe kuti chero pakaiswa coach akaita sei coach iye haana effect yaanoisa? Like I think the point in question is I think Cameroon, they fired their coach first game last tournament.
Yes.
And somehow the coach akapinda akato win a tournament. Was it because akangosvika achishandisa squad ragara riripo or what? Is it not the same effect?
Ukatarisa paipai, alright, chinhu chekutotanga ndechekuti isusu we suffer from maladministration. Ndo chinhu chekutotanga kuzifa kwacho chaiko. Saka uri kuona kana dai tanga takarongeka from zifa kuuya kuzosvika muground kumaplayers, well, machances ekuti zvoni coach anouya opindirana neboys chichi, well, anenge aripo pa 50-50 let's just say pa 40-60. We can't say 100% kuti zvoni yes it's guaranteed kuti zvoni coach anouya. That case akaita pa Cameroon pipe, it's 1 in a million cases.
Okay.
Yeah, because akashandisa team yanga iripo, yes, ndo chitima chake chaakakontina nacho, ndobva angouya kungogadzira akungomisa zvidhori zvake the way yaida kuti zvidhori zvake zvimire, and that's it, right? Administration yeCameroon yavo yanga iripo. Saka that's the difference yatina. Zvokuti ipapa ma-uncertainties ndo watingori nawo, ndo chokwadi chongoripo kuti hatitoziva kuti zvichafamba sei. Tichapiwa coach musi weMonday or Tuesday, right? Miracles can happen because tine boys dziri kumhanya. Tine boys dziri kufamba bhora chaidzo. But administration nepekuti zvoni the top office whatever kumusoro ikoko vanopindira muselection team selection muchi and all those things on saka ndo patinokwarira ipapo.
So obviously for the anti-tinema friendly Algeria ne Qatar akataurwa namagwiza.
Yes.
So with those friendlies, this is a question for anyone who can pick it. Who is because we know if you want to select a player for the national team, you have to give an advance notice to the club that you arrange. So most likely by now, advance notices have already gone to my clubs for the players who are supposed to be selected. So who is selecting the players for the coming coach now?
When is the when are the games, by the way?
I think it's the 13th of November.
18.
Okay. And yeah, so okay, I'll answer that, but also answering Kune Mwangu, is it Boli? Yeah,
Yeah,
is it Boli?
Yeah, it's Boli.
Yeah, good to know you.
Yeah.
So right, I understand. I pretty much agree with most of the things that you said because changes at such a late notice can cause issues.
Yeah.
And I think in Nizwangu, even though I was never a Nice fan, pesa paita issue kuti Nice anogona kuenda. I'm one person who never believed that you actually go. I didn't think he will be sacked. That was the last thing I thought.
Yeah.
But it happened, and I was okay with it though, because I said if he stayed, continuation could have been okay. I spent him AFCON, but if he was sacked as well, I didn't mind because the things that he had done, and I explained my reasons. And now. Difference iripo now ndeyekuti when you're talking about national teams are not like club. It's not like club football. National teams, you never get enough time to prepare. As in zvinotaurwa like mawedzi atinoedza ekuti ekumisa zvimudhori. Yeah, national team, you expect players who are professionals. And this is why sometimes as well we struggle, with Zimbabwe, because I've talked about coaching in Zimbabwe versus coaching in Europe and Asia and everywhere else. Yeah, most of the most of the national teams, my players are not guys with a few days, and they just have to be good players. They just have to be good players, and they don't need much. To even tell them, which way to play or how to change. And you see that even my national team, my coach Majinji, I will use my formation. I really tricky. They tend to use the basic, sort of formations and tactics. I don't know it will work with the players in a short period of time. Hakuna zvokuti muchabuilda my relationship kuti think a lot of things are going to be second nature playing together for a week in week out, because munosangana week in for 2 weeks and then mozoonana after 3-4 months. Yeah, so I don't worry much about having a coach coming in, because there's not much difference that's going to happen there in terms of tactics. It's not much that would need to be changed, for a new coach to come in. The problem I have is rightfully like the question here is yekuti choose a squad in Diani. I would hope kuti squad kuti coach anenge apo kuti I choose a squad, because he's the coach arikuza vanhu achada kuenda nawo AFCON. Whether there is players vangovasinotobvira vapia vanofila kuti they ought to go, whether there is players angadzishandiswa dzaari kufila kuti hadzifaniri kuenda, ku AFCON because they're not good enough in his eyes, because every coach they should be given that sort of a time also. Now it's tricky when we pick, let's just say Coach Arkuya, he feels good 8 players out of that squad are not good enough for what he wants, but they're picked by someone from Zifa, for those last 2 games. It creates a problem now because that coach paanozouya ipapo akutangofunga nawo kuti I never saw ABCD in national team colors, but I think this player is better than all these players. Now it's a judgment call to him kuti ndongo ungoita my players are 1 2 3 waita debut yavo ku AFCON ikoko here kana kuti ndakutongoenda ne the tried and tested, even though I'm not happy with them. That's a judgment call. So my issues those are some of the issues cause when in this situation here. But it's not I see water as such, because you don't need to change a lot of things, as a coach in a national team, because most of the players, they don't play together anyway.
Yeah.
But does it not depend with the coach then who's coming in? Because if we are going to still have a coach who's going to have people selecting players for him, or a coach who's going to be influenced, for example, by Scotland, and that coach is not selecting professional players, are selecting players who need to be taught kuzomisa bora ku national team, then does it not then come back to again lack of preparation?
Yeah, it comes back to the administration part of it, because this coach, if he's there already, then he should be selecting the players he wants. But if he's not there, someone has got to do that job. And you probably more likely to see kuti pa Zimbabwe, you might see kuti maybe Caetano, since Angarichi assistant on the last game, they could say Caetano picked the team. Or knowing Zimbabwe, there might actually be other people waiting waiting in the wings kuti pasina coach kudai so so it creates a problem.
Ray mentioned it in one of our past videos that this Caetano appointment as assistant coach, it smells of something. It might be a hint towards something which is coming. So is he not the coach already, or there's something else?
But andita the CAF Pro license.
Well, knowing Zifa and their bungling, they could have done it without reading the terms and conditions. Then
who put the terms and conditions? Is it not Zifa?
No, Hansi ku CAF ku AFCON, to be registered as a coach, you need it's a CAF regulation. You need a pro license to coach there.
So either way, it's going to be checked, isn't it? All the credentials of any coach are going to be checked before the tournament starts.
Yeah.
So then you will not qualify.
Yeah, you will not qualify. You will not qualify. But when he was picked to be an assistant, Ray did mention something. There was something fishy there. There could have been someone who was hinting into someone's ear. Let's go with this guy. Let's see how it works.
Look, Musi touched on something. Do you know? Look at professional players. Like he said, mindset a professional player. A professional player does not care. Coach Indian. He gets there. He's told, "I want you to do ABCD." He's going to do ABCD. A bola Nees had built a squad yake, built trust, what. You see, this is where the problems stem from. Look at Bafana. If you ask those guys Bafana, none of them is guaranteed a starting place. And those guys know it. We don't even know what he's thinking. They will tell you that this guy work with Yada is going. Because Bruce looks at a player and he sees beyond, what he's saying. This guy, does it give me what I want? If you look at this kind of band, what's his name? Lyle Foster. And that striker. Do you know Lyle Foster is not their number one striker? Do you know who their number one striker is? That guy in Orlando Pirates. And Mukara Duya. Do you get what I'm trying? Do you get what I'm trying to say? That mindset here. Could their number one striker? I mean, I understand fire, face moto. But Lyle Foster plays in the UK. And then, but Anomuda is Aditika. And then when he's going for you, Anatambisa too. So we're saying, bring a coach who is worth his salt, a coach who knows what he wants. Already he knows good. I want that one, I want that one, I want that one. And then there's this, you see, Borare Luka. Like Bola Mutara Futi, he starts maladministration. Basket and some apples. One ratanga kuora percent anditi. Mukasabisa that basket race pera kuora. You know what I mean? Maladministration kai kushka kuti boredu reach to a level where we think we should be competing with Anna South Africa, Anna whatever. And we need to stop the road from within. That's what I'm saying. If you can have people who go in there and then they are varongozi ndokutengera mota mangwana munobva rochinja vhoti yake for a car, stake of a nation at risk, and lose a car over success of the nation. These are the people we have in our team. This is the matter we talk about, Kuti. We need people with ethics. People with ethics, people who stand and say, whatever we're doing here is for the betterment of the team. And I'm going to give you an example when it comes to administration. Orlando Pirates is owned by Ivan Koza, Duke. Probably the Duke. Sundowns is owned by Motsepe. Kaizer Chiefs is owned by Motong. If you look at Kaizer Chiefs got any problems. I wonder, do you know why? Because Bobby Motaung, mwana wake, vakati toda coach mnyuan. If the coach sits down and say, coach, what no, my credentials in face to you. According to his credentials, this guy here, here's what it takes, and to go. And let me tell you, if Bobby does not like that guy for whatever reason, whether traffic, Mune Awi, I'm telling you, and the kids will suffer. My fans will pop out, say, then the Raja steps in. Stabilize. I want this guy, I want that. And now we are in face of Bobby. Abai, and now let's go over to Sundowns. I don't know, he's got a high posted business or something at the top. This guy does not directly come to the coaching staff. All they want is results. And the guy could coach with other player EU. Mangwana Chechega is Sundowns, the operator moves kuti player sign way. Look where they are. Look and look where Pirates is. Look Shogara Umsoro can't. He watches all are doing whatever they do. He handles the business side. Look where Pirates is, and look where Chiefs is. You need people with ethics to do what is supposed to be done. People who do the team operation in the forefront before their own. So right now, whichever coach is coming, I want Padera, I want Fabic for that DM position. It drops my it's his call. Let's go with it. And he knows why he's calling them. He knows why he wants to understand. I want that one. Support him. And then my journalist Edu Alman azosiningi baningi akambosipaka game rariya tikadaro murisa team kuti yakambosipaka apa. Consistency is what we're looking for, and then we're also looking at like a game young Fabish. Did you see Mana Jaita? He was playing a typical DM, clean up Messi. Akaona kuti sibi wangu ya abuda arasika aina unovhara buri akaona bora control pass. He is doing what he was groomed to do from an early age. Because you clean my face side, you clean it up, you watch these guys, you protect. He does that, and he's actively, involved in that. He does that. Captain Wedu Vangavane where you can tell you follow Kumatsu, follow the money. You get Zimbabwe. Follow the choice. You can tell who's picking the squad. Follow the trail. Follow the trail. You up. You pick up where I'm from. So Jakuti, look, the time is 50 days. Okay, it's not even much time. And but if you're bringing a coach, it's good place to go. Let him come in. Okay, they are new. Dikoko. Let him bring him in. Let him tell them what he wants, and then play the friendlies to see what's going to happen. Let him take him to AFCON. It's not like AFCON we're going to do wonders. Let's not kid each other. Panapa. It's not like we're going to do Shamisra Sterek. Touch as a number. So no what to talk. So let him. If he's taking a new squad, then let him go there. And then from there, when he comes from there, let him build the team then as he wants to build it. And then let's just watch and say, okay, and then we pick on him like we're doing right now. Face with Anga Gona. At the same time, this is something I just want to throw in now before I stop. You see, all these boys, Vanonzi, they are Zimbabwe, Ana Meuka, Pana Varkuno, City, Masibi, and all that. And if you let too many cooks and not enough Indians, and you don't need. Now the question is, whether they are Zimbabwean or not, we don't know. But you've got people in the UK, you've got an KVR. You've got this is what I'm saying. Football, it goes if you guys are running a show in India country, it should go beyond just when I'm not kuzifa house. Engage on a UK. Can you get more information about this? Let him see. You tell these boys could go on Facebook. We don't want to spark out but what if you focus on like superstars like that, it works out for you. For G, that the community, the military lions, a situation where one go rasa by the sideways. You know what I mean? So we can never know. Those boys want to see Zimbabwe. Why not start talking to them now? Why is it putting something in place where these guys are very equal with guys with relations now? Kevin, the rest of these guys are never.
Yeah, it looks like he's having network issues. Related to what you were saying, there have been rumors that the likes of Redknapp have applied. Chris Hughton was at Tottenham, and was it a Brighton as well?
Yes, been Brighton. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rumored that he has applied. Chris Hughton, I would think he has applied because he has coached in Ghana before, so probably it will be likely. Redknapp, I'm not sure. At 78, I don't know if it's someone who's still looking for a job.
And he hasn't been active in coaching, has he?
Yeah, he hasn't been active. So again, it's all rumors that are being thrown around, and we have no way of verifying. But my thinking is, if we are selecting someone, maybe it would be good to select such an English coach, say Hughton, because he has got links in the UK. We've got a pool of players or pool of young players in the UK that he can then probably use ma structures ake anawo, ma connections anawo already to see those players. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure we are looking at selecting such a high-profile coach because there's been that list which has been circulating where Nees' salary was something like 10,000. Then the rest of my salary and my coach are above 60,000. So are we ready to select a high-profile coach? Do we have the money, or do we want to, or we want someone we can control and someone we can give assistance to?
I think that question will be answered when they announce whichever coach they've selected, because they've already gone through the process of finding a replacement for Nice, right? So
Yeah.
up until we know who that person is, there's not much input we can really give
Mm,
on the side coach. So I would think on that front, let's wait and see who they bring on.
yeah.
Yes, Hughton is a what's the word I'm looking for? He's a seasoned coach, right?
Mm,
He has been everywhere. He's been at Norwich, he's been at Brighton, he's gone around. But his record at international level is not impressive.
mm,
You see, he has been in all these areas. So I would think let's let a coach do the coaching business.
mm,
Zvekuti ane ma-connections ku-UK tombozisa paside.
mm,
That's the job of that admin. Let them, if he tells them, call Ningi, call Ningi, call Ningi, call this one for me, call this one for me, call that one for me.
yeah.
And then he coaches those people.
Yeah.
Not, it shouldn't be his job for him to convince a player to change allegiance from either England to Zim. You see? Someone else has to do that job. He has to focus on selecting the players and selecting the first 11 and keeping the
Mm,
morale high in the squad. I
mm,
think that's what we should limit our coaches to.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
I think
yeah.
well, with a scenario like this, just answering questions or going on to statements that you guys have made. Yeah, is um, I'll start with the with this coach, the coach coming in, with the AFCON, in the horizon and all that. Um, like I've said, but earlier on that you do not, uh, they do not need to do way more than you think they need to, simply because uh, international players, international or professional players with international coaches, uh, it doesn't have to be weeks and weeks, of coaching, what the players, because that's why you see that a player is called, to the squad on
Mm,
a Tuesday. They train Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and hear that they're being given a debut. This coach has not coached this player before. By the time that they've had with them on the pitch, for those 3 days, 4 days, that player should be cute enough there as a professional to be able to adjust to what the manager wants. Because sometimes I think we overcomplicate things because we see too many things, like now with this, so many formations, people talk about. But there's base formations in football that managers just tweak. The base formations are 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 3-5-2. Yeah. Any manager picks one of those formations and they tweak it the way that they want. And as a professional footballer, any of those formations, you should be able to fit into that. So the manager comes in. So let's say, for example, with the Zimbabwe situation, the manager comes in. Don't get me right on this. I'm not saying that it's ideal, because that's not the ideal thing. We need more time. But in a such situation like we have now, the manager is not there for the last two friendly games. Yeah. If he's
mm,
not in place for that, and he comes in, and let's just say, he's got a month before the game start, and probably they're going to be in the camp for at least a week before the game start. I'm sure that could be possible. On some clubs, it's not going to be possible. But the point that will be there is that time that manager is going to have with the players could mean that even players who have not played for Zimbabwe, but who he feels that they have the ability, the technicality, the physicality, they are currently playing for the clubs. I'll give you an example. A manager could come in, and the young lad who was dropped, because what's his name? Okay, I keep forgetting his name.
Padera.
Yeah.
Fusire.
Yeah. A manager could come in, someone like Hughton could come in and say, Fusire is going. Fusire is actually going to be an important cog, in the machine for me. He hasn't played for Zimbabwe, but he knows that he's a pro. He's good enough to train with the rest of the squad and actually get onto that pitch and play, because the levels that he's playing already is the same as you get any player who comes into a club say in January, and after 2-3 sessions they're playing, because it's possible. The difference, this is why, and I know that sometimes it keeps on coming out as if I'm having a go at Zimbabwean local players, but it's the reality. Yeah, most of them, they're not coached well. By not being coached well into these sort of systems, some of them, even with the technicality that with how, no matter how technical they are or how skillful they are, sometimes it becomes difficult, because it's actually things that you have to get used to as a pro to be directed on how to play as a team, because our local football isn't that much, sort of a team football. There's still even now an element of individualism. The structures are different. Yeah, so I don't mind even now where a coach comes in, and this is why I want a coach who probably someone like Hughton. The reason why I would like him to come is one. Sometimes we confuse two things: coaches and managers. Yeah, Redknapp is a manager. He's not tactically astute. Yeah, he's not a hands-on manager. He's not a hands-on coach who can go on the pitch and start, demonstrating, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. Redknapps, they rely on coaches to do the work for them, and then they take overall the team selection. Then they decide this is the formation that we're going to play. So when they decide everything they want, it's the coaches who do the job. Yeah. Now, Hughton is a hands-on coach. He's actually a coach. Yeah. So, but he's one who gets his hands dirty. So he can actually build whatever he wants. Obviously, he's not going to do wholesale changes. But I think with the team that we have now, bear in mind that we're not expected to do well in that tournament. I want a coach who comes in there and remove all these stupid ideas about certain players who are coming in there, because we know, we don't want to go, onto it again. We know there's players who shouldn't be there. There's players who have been picked there just because they are who they are, or because of the people who they're involved with. Yeah. And when you look at, if you're telling me that we have a situation, and I've got a gripe on this, and I keep saying it, with the situation where at a national team level, we were having a striker playing a defensive midfield, that those things only happen at club football. They should never happen at international football, because at international football, when you're picking players, we're picking 6, 7, 8 midfielders. Midfielders play midfield. Strikers play strikers. Defenders play defenders. But the moment that you saw with that, you realize, the frailties that were there with the manager. So because we've got nothing to lose, really, I want someone who comes in there, and even if it means he's going to drop 10 players out of that, and he's picking what he thinks are actually proper players who are ready, professional players who are fit fit, professional, who understand the game, who can grasp whatever he wants, within the time frame that is going to be there. Whether he's going to have the 2 games friendlies or he's not going to have any games, we need someone who is who has this English sort of brutalness, or the Germans as well do that here, where players, you think that they're just going to go there because they've always been assured that they are in there, they get dropped. It only has to be merit. And that's why we need someone who is not a Zimbabwean coach. I'm probably, in a way, not that I'm wishing our local coaches bad, but I'm probably happy that at this moment in time, they don't have the qualifications, because we would have been going through the same nonsense again. That nonsense, it won't stop, until someone puts a stop to it. And the only thing that we need, and the only thing that Nees failed to do, that I had issues with him, is he failed to own that team and say, you know what, I'm doing this job and I'll do it the way that I want it. And if you don't want me to do it the way that I want, there's me, I'm gone.
So
but he got sucked in. He got sucked in with the usual.
So from the days of Fabish, we've always had a local assistant coach. So you're speaking of making wholesale changes. Is it possible for a coach to come in and be able to make wholesale changes when in some way it seems like Zifa has always expected whichever foreign coach that we employ to be also something like a mentor to our local coach who may take over next time? Is this thing of having coaches picked for the main coach working?
I'll answer you. I know exactly, because the funny thing is, I was driving back home and I thought about that exact question you've asked me. Our Zimbabwean coaches, yes, we need them there, but there's ways that they can help. But our Zimbabwean coaches, they need to be number 3, number 4, and so forth. Yeah. Number 1, who is the coach, and the number 2, he's got to have his own trusted assistant. He's got to have his own trusted assistant, someone who he leans to, someone who he's always worked with, someone who is able to tell him that this route we can't go this route, but we can go that route and all that. Yeah, you need 2 at a minimum who have nothing to do with local football. And then after that, you have our Zimbabwean coaches now coming in as an assistant coach, or maybe it's the 4th one. One is coming in as a goalkeeping coach. Maybe one is coming in as a conditioning coach and all that. Yeah. So you would have our coaches there, but they shouldn't be number 2s. They shouldn't be number 2. Because when they go number 2, that's when this influence of the usual stuff that's been happening, that's where those problems start. Because it seems like we can't run away from it. In Zimbabwe, it seems like our number 2 has always been aligned to the problems that are created in our game.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, go on, boss.
Of which people we cannot run away from that one. Tinotoziziva kuti izvezvi varitoziva kuti alright, panumber 2 tina nhinga vakatochigadzira chinhu chavo. That's an obvious case. Titarisa Zimbabwe yedu. So with coach ari kutsvagwa, yes, well, panyaya yamaqualifications ndo pavauraya vese, but 2, 3, yeah, Kelvin, what you just said, yes, tese tinenge tichitoda izvozvo, but nezim yedu hatiwini ipapo.
Bolas, do you think Scott? I think Scott is the main sponsor of the Zimbabwe national team as we speak.
Yeah,
sponsors
better brands.
Yes, better brands. Of course, we know that Scott, he's also the sponsor of every other thing. He sponsors Yada, he sponsors his main opponent, Simba, who started losing all games after being given 100,000. But that's the story for another day. So, do you think you would keep on sponsoring our boys go AFCON? We have had issues with my bonuses on a practical level. We know Zifa doesn't have money, so Scott comes in with the money. Will ye still keep on sponsoring our boys if he doesn't have influence, or if his boys and Andiraya don't get in to the technical team? Sorry for
That's a
being
good
Isn't
blunt.
there a
question.
contract?
Yeah,
Isn't there a
that's a good
contract that
question.
binds him to that?
For me, sorry, I don't know if anyone wants to answer it.
Okay,
But okay,
I'll just
Yeah,
go on, go on,
Bolas.
okay,
Wally. Go on. Good.
knowing in knowing him at a personal level, Munu and anotori
Ndabora.
munhu anotori nelove nebhora rake, munhu ane love nema-communities ake, munhu ane love nevanhu vake. Of course, you know, asati apindwa adonzwa nana Mike Chimombe paya kuti achitanga kupinda mupolitics and stuff. A lot of things aita zvinhu wholeheartedly zvisina any political influence, zvisina anything chaari kuti zvonhu alright, saka inini apa ndichazodai. So panyaya yekuti anogona kuti anandira havana kuenda kana boys dzake chi, I don't think kuti zvoni zvingastope anything kuri side kwake, right? And there is issue inogara ichitaura vanhu yekuti zvoni panyaya yema-influence, especially sports.
Yeah.
Boys rere raakatora handisi kuti akapinda bhata dzungu rake rekutora maplayers ese kubva kuhighlanders, Simba, everywhere, right? Maplayers aya pakauya Nees akangouya ndobva angotora squad zvainge iri. Boys rere ranga rakatorwa riri kunonzi chi, riri kusimba akangokontinya naro rakadaro. So per selection year, someone mentioned per selection, we go back to selection year foot. Is I think it's you, Calvin, who mentioned, which is on it. The coach Arkuya is not. I'm not gonna figure out, but this one, all right. Knowledge him so na nchamuda mtimu wangu. Anchada ningi. Nduda navaya, nduda pio, nduda ningi ya. Over tora vanhu vake vanyowani. Chitima obvious it's I can say easy. It's highly likely kuti chi vanhu vakawanda vachadrop. Vanhu vatinogara tiyotaura isu kuti uyu why ari kuita muteam vachadrop. Every coach akasvika anosvika obva zvoni gents, you've got your ways yamamuchita zvinhu zvenyu. Inini I've got mine. Inini ndinoona maplayers angu. I know Zim players, right? Let's say kwauya an English coach abva kunoku anokutaurira kuti zvoni inini I believe vapana handitombodi anyone madhara ese amuri kushandisa, ndokuda vapana muteam yangu, and that's it. Saka that's obvious kuti zvoni vese anakama vakutodona vakutanga kunza vapana vakadii. Saka inini maonero andiri kuita zvinhu zvacho hapana influence inogona kuitika kana kuri kunzi zvoni Scotland yabviswa vanhu vayo, because zvinhu izvo zvagara zviri kutozoitika.
But I know kuti it may not be direct, but there are things like I know wachenesa Scott. Msazoti nyimo marapta please trutaura bora. But but there are things like I think there was that leaked video of Nakamba straight after the South Africa game. Nakamba is calling
Yeah.
Scott. Yeah, of course, they may have malinks. It's possible, zvinowanikwa, but the picture that it gives to us now, kuti straight after game vanhu vari mudressing room, the first people you are calling kuti boss tiri kuonai Arubi ari kutoti ndiri kuuya kuzokuonai. It doesn't give a really good picture. That
I'll
was
tell
not
you
clean.
that's what we
can I
used
jump
to
in there 5
do.
minutes?
Yeah.
Can I
Go on,
jump
Ray.
in 5 minutes? Yeah, Bolio, I'm Chinese. I'm sure you guys know each other on a personal level. But look, I'm going to be frank with you. I don't believe in beating about the bush and all that. Something is off. You see, this guy owns a team in Nottingham Premier League, right? He sponsors the Premier League. He sponsors the national team. You cannot tell me, in all earnest, he cannot tell me honestly, Kuti, hana influence someone on who scored up and who plays. You can never ever. It doesn't matter, Kuti in the kupi. Kunoko in Australia, I play social league and my face are no sponsor. Social league Kunoko is well sponsored. But these guys are smart. One business is smart, like a sponsor. It has to do nima takes and but when this guy is sponsor, you can tell Kuti uyu face we are utamba uyu because major sponsor uyu munhu wake. So you can never tell me Kuti this muridzi wemari. So you can never tell me Kuti muridzi wemari is gonna say Kuti chinhu chacho handechascott. Let's be frank. Inini chinhu chacho handechascott. Inini from the time I watched video yakanetsa yeCaro United yai versus Scotland, I'm telling you, someone needs to convince me otherwise. Someone needs to convince me otherwise because I watched it raw footage. Because there's a guy to work with, Anusanda Kokoko. I got to come and look at this. I tell you, behavior ya ref, so the way the ref jumped akadona. Anyway, let's forget all that. But I'm saying influence in face week cannot be written off. And the point Kuti imari yake and mkazatora vanhu vake it also triggers something also. Arubi is 41. How old is Arubi? 41, somewhere there, Anditka. Somewhere there. Mali Tawaziva is only 22 or something. I don't understand to be corrected. And then Nis told Mali, Kutiyomba na yo chimboenda. Anditka. For whatever reason, he told him kuti chimboenda. Hanzi newana hanza ano akanzi ngatamba first team action. Vakomana Mpana is 22. He plays for Brentford. So I try to tell you, until Mali takes over number one position from that guy, Arubatra Brentford, he can't come back to and play for Zimbabwe. But he's keeping faith in a 41-year-old keeper. Tabai Papo, jump after game, South Africa. Captain Uyangane 2.5 years, asingatambi Luton. Even my friends, they're calling this guy. This guy hasn't kicked the ball in more than a year. And the same guy calls Scott soon after Bora. Zvikanzi uye na Rubik office. Now, let's Tashkai Papo. I'm going to ask you a question. So I try to tell me, Mimi Kuti, when all that has happened, Coach Akawuye Oti has not Rubi to that Mali. Do you think Scott is just going to sit idle when Arubi calls Mota boss whenever down the see up in Zampano? You think Scott is just going to be idle Garepa Oti no end?
I think
one on that I want the last point I want to tell you, Kuti, look, let's not berana. Face yaka coach yako yakavhiringa setup ikai vanhu vemunhu vakadzikiswa vafana vanotorwa marava because look at Tondra Indiraya akabvunzwa abanyani mfana Nathan Mutasa akanzi mfana ushu is he that good handiti because kune mabudlikas anenge achikuti anogona nechichi kana achigona ngata. There's a kid who plays for under 17. He's always playing. He plays ahead of mfana Nathan Mutasa anti ndokugona. Tondra akati if he plays 30 minutes, anenge atotamba stereki. This is his coach arikutiudza isusu kuti ndikamutambisa 30 minutes anenge atotamba. which means he does not believe the boy has what it takes. But that boy, he's always there. I'm talking about influence. I'm talking about power influence. Mfana is always in that team, but kutama chake by times hatambi. Abanzi 3 tantrum akade and 2 times of want to leave. Leave. If you want to leave, baya usatudze, just go. Okuti ndakutambira Cape United. Tokuona iko, then you prove that the coach kuti chi waindibatira ina mebola. Waindibatira no zvokuti anze I'm going because he doesn't play me. But influence I'm sorry with face wako,
but in angle on that right issue yandina ndeyekuti a lot has happened in Zimbabwean football, and we're always going to be skeptical about things. But on the other hand as well, we can't say nothing can change. Yeah, because if we say nothing can change, then let's leave. Why should we sack Nees? Why should we not just put the Zimbabwean coaches? The unfortunate thing here is that they don't have the qualifications there. But if they had the qualifications, we'll just leave them, and the status quo remains. Yeah. So, which we have had hope for a long time. We want changes. We are expecting changes.
We've been hope since 1980.
Yeah. And now, the way that, and this is why I always insist on this, a Zimbabwean football will never be changed by a Zimbabwean coach. But an outsider can change. And I will tell you now why an outsider can change.
Sometimes your own brothers.
Sometimes we underestimate the power of a coach or the power of a manager. Yeah, because and this is the reason why I always insist on European-based coaches. Yeah, a proper coach. Say someone like Hughton. Yeah, that guy is professional. That guy Zifa is not going to tell him to play someone. He's been in football for a long time. He don't suffer fools. Those are the type of coaches who walk away because you're trying to influence. Yeah. So that's the only way we can get away from this. So because we can't keep on saying, oh, let's not do A, B, C, D because Better Brand will pull their money. I would rather they pull their money because the coach is saying, no, this is not going to happen. Yeah. And he throws a tantrum and says, you know what? I'm pulling my money. And then that's when things are exposed. That's when it will be known now that you were putting money in there because you wanted to influence the national team. Or, like what Bolly said, this is when we could see that actually he cares much more for the national team than just his influence. Because sometimes you've got to understand this. If someone sees that they can influence, they will take advantage of it. But if they see that they can't influence, they can step back. That stepping back now would then mean two things. Either he pulls out or he wants to remain with whatever there. Because you've got to understand as well, Zimbabwe as a brand, yeah? It's enticing as well for someone to be called, oh, you know what? You're the one who's funding this, you're doing funding that, you're funding this. Especially now when we're going to AFCON, yeah? Better Brand as a brand itself, it will be more exposed at AFCON. Yeah? So if you have a coach who's going to say, I don't do all that shit business, that you've always done there. I'm the coach, the buck stops with me. Everyone who's not, ready to be in this team, they're not going to be in this team. If you've been in this side because there's certain influences there, not this time. I'm going to do blip test here. I'm going to see players who are fit and players who are not fit. I'm going to check on your stats, whether in South Africa where they do the stats, or in UK to see where you are with your fitness, how many games, blah 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 blah. Because remember, when the Hughton kind of people come in, they do an in-depth analysis on players. Yeah, and this is when some players are going to be found out. The players who were in the side because of influence rather than ability or fitness. Yeah. So we have to take that gamble where we bring in a coach who's going to say, I don't do that nonsense. If you want to influence me, I'll walk. As long as I'm here, what I say goes. So the tantrum. So this now you leaving that part. Ray has got his own way of thinking about these people. Bolly has his own way of thinking about, these people. But we'll find out now, because these people, which namely Scott, is going to have to make a decision. The coach has refused to be influenced by him. Because he's refused, Scott is going to make a choice. I love my game. I love football, and a better brand, benefits from this. Even if I don't have that much of an influence on the coach, he stays. Great. No, I'm not going to put my money. Oh, I'm not going to put my money on this, like Ray said. I'm not going to put my money on it when I don't have that influence. Obviously, that shows unprofessionalism. He pulls out his money. Maybe we are in that position now where we need to know these things, because all this time, we've been making assumptions about what's happening, but putting in someone who's going to say no is going to tell us where these people. Because you know what? For all you know, maybe Scott just influences things because he can, but if he can't, he'll still be involved. But there's only one way to find out. That's by not putting a Zimbabwean coach. Because if you put a Zimbabwean coach, you know what? It only takes, Scott to hand him 20 grand, there's 20 grand, or I've bought you a car.
10K.
You know what? Dave,
5K.
that's it.
5K.
But you know what? He may not even
5K.
need to give the coach any money. You know the thing in Zimbabwe, we have people vanenge vachizora majarini kuti ungoonekwa. So sometimes people who perform things so that ungokwanisa kufadza a certain constituency, and so that you remain in the job. So as Bole was saying, sometimes maybe Scott is completely innocent in this, but
Yeah.
but he has some
The system,
implicit.
man.
Yes, exactly. He has some implicit influence, because people will be wanting to kumfadza, vachifunga kuti vari kumufadza.
Let me tell you something just quickly. Ndingokupa example. Narrative zemu dressing room. Yeah. Ndikaenda dressing room, a new dressing room. Mune players, mune senior players arimo kudhara and what not. Anditi. Ndobva ndasvika mune vanotozikana kuti ava ndo madhara imo. Yokuti anenge achitotaura, unoziva vekuti kana kuti even coach asati apinda anenge achitaurisa because ndirimo, ndikuziva ndirimo. Paona achishauta that yatinoita kubhora, handiti. He's confident. Yeah. So inini ndikandopinda dressing room imomo, handiti. Ndiye ari kunzi big dhara, handiti. Tikaenda muground, big dhara riya rega, vanhu vese mupichi vari muchanging room imomo akatadza chinhu. Akatadza something, akaita something, no one says anything to him. Because is imomo. Runzi rine nyanga, handiti. But it takes someone like me who comes in there who's do the right thing. When people see me doing that now, they realize kuti I need to pick down go. Oh not no. Munhu atyise sezvaanga achiita. Ngona because kwauya munhu anomuchallenja kuti we're not doing that. Aungati munhu wese uri kushautira iwewe woita the same mistake and you expect kuti pashaya munhu anoita sei anotaura the same thing. That person here unoona kuti mentality yake inochinja dressing room, because now I expose kuti hausi big dhara dressing room munomo, because kuti unoona munhu anotokujamutsa futi as well. Yeah. So what I was saying is, munhu ukamupa chance yekuita kuti I influence something, they will. Why not? They will. It's human nature. Yeah. But ukamunyima chance yachona yekuita izvozvo, that's when you know the real person.
Kokabirwa passport.
Right, guys. Ndamboteerera zvamava muchitaura, guys.
Yes,
Kumbirawo kumbokudzoserai mashure mbichana. Kumbirawo
Yeah,
kumbokudzoserai
yeah.
mashure mbichana. Can I ask you, Guti, why was Brito fired?
because he asked for
Brito akadzingirwe.
for my preparations. He wanted. I think he asked for stuff, and then I don't know if it leaked to the media or it's Zifa who leaked it to the media.
He
But
wrote
he
an
asked for
email to them.
professionalism. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Yes.
I didn't hear your question. It doesn't walk into the attitude. What is he? Oh,
Why was Brito fired from the national team job?
sorry. I think
Why was he
that's
sacked?
kuluza. Ndangonzwa kwekutanga nekwekupedzisira. Sorry.
Why was Brito fired?
Yeah, I was asking why
Oh,
was he
Brito.
sacked?
Brito. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So that's the thing. Zifa, you bring a coach like that, like with all the professionalism that we want and
Yeah.
desperately need in that team, and we desperately need as a country. We'll end up at Zingwa just like Brito. Brito was sacked for voicing concerns over things that were insufficient in the team. Areas that could be improved for raising, we can do better here, we can do better there, we can do better there. And he was sacked for that. And no one voiced his corner for him. He went and then on to the next coach. You see, these are the kind of people that we are dealing with.
Yeah.
So
I think
yes,
your
we might
question
bring
also
Chris.
comes to Kuti. I think the media. Unfortunately, we are now part of the media with what we are doing, but the media has to be very fair. The media has to be non-partisan. If your favorite coach is failing, say it. But if someone who is not linked to your Dimbari or your Highlanders says something which is valid, we should support it. But during that time, there were daggers already out. Herald ikangoita, unfortunately, ndiana mukoma edu ana sharuko akangoti you should not be coaching. You will not coach because the headlines will come every day. H Metro, Sunday Mail, then they will pass to their colleagues Kunana Newsday. So yeah, that you can continue, but I think that's where the media comes in.
You see, okay. So that's where I was saying, Gotichi, Zifa within that organization, the culture in that does not change. Ndeyekuti ukataura ukaenda, if you go against what we want, then you are a goner, right? You see, I think Brito coached 2 games and he got draws, isn't it? So we can't say he was sacked on the basis of results, right? Yes, he probably didn't have a record, but he wasn't given a chance to have a better record, right? All because of nothing to do with his inability as a coach, but because of what he had said. And
the professionalism.
What guarantees do we have that if Chris Hughton comes in and he shows all the professionalism that we need, they'll just tell him, okay, we've heard what you said. There's the door. And we are back to square one.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, go ahead.
That's not about. I get you and I hear you. And no problem yatinayo and no dilemma yatinayo. But then there's no other way of dealing with that issue because there's 2 ways here. One in the equity, we just accept Guti. There's always going to be people who have to influence the national team. So we're never going to move forward from that. Or if it means another coach comes in and gets sacked, not for footballing reasons, but for those reasons, aramba kuita zvinhu unprofessional, so be it. Maybe at one point, someone is going to raise a concern and say, hang on a minute, we are failing as a football nation because the people who we are sacking, or the people who we are saying we're showing the door, we're showing them the door because they're trying to do the right thing and we're not doing the right thing. That's hope. Me and you are. We know that that is hope that we have. We don't know whether it will work, but what else can we do other than just accepting that
Exactly.
they're there? Let them influence. So if they're going to influence like that, then there's no need for us to look for good coaches or better coaches. They can put whoever they want because it's never going to change. But I understand that they got rid of Brito because of that, but let them get rid of another coach because of that. And the more that they do it, the more exposed it becomes. And maybe it will get to a point where someone says, enough is enough.
You know, Nkoma Kev, that brings me to another question. Um, when Nees was fired, Magwizi mentioned that they consulted with stakeholders, they consulted with their technical team, which made an analysis. The next question would be, who who is part of that technical team? Is it the same failed former coaches or our old former coaches like Anamoff, like previously, who formed that team? Will um, a coach as CAF Pro license be able to come and appraise the work of a coach and a pro license, or a coach who has coached in better environments, or a Brito, he was part of Mourinho's technical team, and Brito, because there was a producer, that email that he produced, it was because he had been exposed to a professional environment. He knew technical equipment that's needed. He knew medical stuff that needs to be done to prepare people. But then that coach is being appraised by someone who's local, and unfortunately, I won't use names again, but someone who's part of that so-called technical team. Who is part of that technical team? Are we not supposed to reconstitute that technical team, or make sure we employ a director of football and a higher rank, or a similar, are higher than the coach that we are then going to employ, so that they can then head the technical department?
Yeah, okay. That's a tricky one. Why? Because let's use Europe for that instance. Yeah, the people who are going to appraise Southgate for England are probably not as qualified as us as Southgate. But however, they try to do they get trusted people who have been in the game for a long time. They might not have the pro license that Southgate has, but if they sit down as a unit, they will look at they would have been given, the pointers on what to look at or to look for in the manager through what he has done. And they look at it and say, oh, you know what, he was tasked with A, B, C, D. He's done A, B, but he's failed to do C. How massive is C? Or maybe it's not that massive, so maybe we'll hope he improves on the C. Or the way that he's done A and B wasn't really satisfactory, and C isn't great, so we don't think he's the right person to do the job. The
But
problem
at a
with
minimum, don't we need to have people who have got the exposure to top class football administration in that technical committee?
okay, if I may, I agree with you. I obviously agree with you. My question to you will be, where do we get these people from within Zimbabwe? Are we taking because if we say the people who are technical from a footballing point of view in Zimbabwe, you're more likely going to come across two groups.
Mm,
One is the local coaches themselves,
mm,
yeah, who and I can say this, even though it's not a fact, but I'm pretty confident that the local coaches would be an interested party to this.
Yeah. Mm.
Because they would want the job as well. The second one
Yeah.
will be the one which is, I just messed my head for a long time, which is the Zifa councillors.
Mm.
I don't, and I have no faith.
I think that's where the
I've
ndopane
got no
problem
That's where
faith,
the
yese ipapo.
problem comes from.
no faith.
Pama-councillors ipapo ndopane problem yese
Yeah.
ipapo ndopane the whole
So
problem.
now, you would only hope that someone like the Zifa chair, we call him president or chairman, yeah, president, yeah,
Yes,
Zifa
sir.
president, yeah. You would hope that he would use, his office to try to find people who can help in this regard. So my thinking, you've got to look at people who probably have excelled in the football world, or say in Zimbabwean football world, yeah, and you hope that their thinking or their deliberation on the analysis of the coach isn't really swayed on them being interested. So I'll be looking at people like Peter and Love.
Mm.
I'll be looking at someone like Moses Chunga, even though I'm a bit skeptical. The Blazo Angu, but I'm a bit skeptical because he's been a coach as well. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And I say him. And I will say someone like George Mbwando, someone who's working, outside the country, and he's got love for the national team, and he would really want to do well. You've got to trust that those people have as much love for the country, such that they're not thinking about themselves; they're thinking about the national team. Yeah. So you find, that core group. It doesn't matter where they are in this world now. Technology, yeah, you can talk. We don't have to sit in the same room, where we can talk here and have a proper meeting. Yeah. So every now and again, they then sit down and talk about, where the national team is, what the coach is doing, what is done, the good things is done, the bad things that is done, the things that could be improved, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I think those are the people who could, because we don't have football people in our country to really have that kind of a group which looks after, but that part of the game. We just don't. Our coaches, the coaches who are going to come and coach for the national team, they will be more clued up on the football stuff more than most of any of these technical directors or whatever in Zimbabwe.
Thank you for bringing up the issue of the group. So my thinking was that that technical grouping, it can have the technical director as someone like, as you said, George Bwando, and because he's currently training, he's currently coaching in a first world country, in a top ranked football nation, and so I think we missed an opportunity there. Zifa appointed some Burundian guy as the technical director. We don't know his credentials. So I would be thinking that as the technical director or the head of that core group would have someone like George Mwando. So that
Yeah.
someone already atonima qualifications and it. Then you then bring in um, other people like former coaches, like our old veterans like Anna Chunga, Anna Sage Chizambwa, Anna Sunday Chizambwa, and former players who have played in top leagues like Anna Peter, Anna Benjani, and even other local who were locally based, legends and locally based, to form that technical grouping, and that would make more sense. But right now, I don't have trust in that technical grouping because I don't know if it has people who have got the exposure. So they may not necessarily be better than the European coach who's coming. For example, if it's Chris Hughton, they may not have coached in EPO like Chris Hughton, but there are people who are exposed and who have got the knowledge at least, and then mix that group with people who know the local conditions. Then that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's we have to find ways of dealing with that, because at the end of the day, I think the one of the biggest issues we've had, in our game is the fact that so much has gone wrong to an extent where none of us actually believe, even when we say these things, that we would wish to happen. It's almost like we say them, uh, not really having the belief that it can happen or it can work, because we're so used to
Anything will
this.
change.
We're so used to this nonsense, But we've got to try.
We know with hapana change. We know with hapana change. You see, these are just wishes, you see, that we have. And these
Juma.
wishes have been there since 1980. Kuna zvinhu zvakadaro.
But black is
Kale, how many
Vagabutaura
years? Zimbabwe, how old is Zimbabwe?
45, I think now.
Since then, nothing has changed. What faith do we have that it will change anytime soon? You see,
Juma.
my point is, okay, will probably be that as it may. Who appoints these councillors? Because Kwantiri, until that is addressed, we will have the same problem recurring again and again and again and again, because we have a people who have a culture of impunity. They are untouchable. Nothing happens to them, no matter what. And they are the people who are then who are handed the responsibility to select our coaches. And then a fish rots from the head. Whatever follows down is already dead, is already condemned, is doomed to fail. You see, so if you have, I'm not even sure how many are former footballers in those councillors, which I think should be a prerequisite to some of them. At least you have one of them. Munhu akambotamba bhora at a top level. You have the guys like Alice Bunjira, the guys you're mentioning, and Peter Ndlovu. One of them being one of those councillors, or even more, because they are the ones who vote for the president. You see, so until that core group has been changed, there's nothing going to change. You see, yes, I think the technical team, like you were discussing, still answers to these guys, or are still under these guys. So as long as these guys are above them, they will do whatever they wish. Unless we change those people and put some professional people there, professional administrators there, then we'll remain with the same problem that we have always had for the past 45 years. I think, I don't know how.
Yeah. Because last time Wicknow is the one who chose the councillors. So, yeah.
He paid people to vote for the president, the current president.
Yeah.
Wicknow paid people to vote. So if those people can be paid to vote for someone, how can we trust their decisions? How can we trust them to be impartial?
But this is why I said that the only hope that we have is with the coach. Trust me, the only hope we have is with the coach. And as much as things have failed, and we sort of like resigned to the same things happening, but we could have another brittle moment. We could have another brittle moment, and that could set the tone for what's going to happen after then. Because if we have another Brito moment, then that means we're going to have a situation where they sack that manager again, and it comes out again that they've done this for unprofessional reasons. And in my heart of hearts, I would want to believe that this president, if a president, doesn't want to find himself in that situation where he's sacking someone for being professional, because that guy, as much as he messes up, but he comes across like he really wants people to believe that he's professional. Yeah, there is something about him which he just wants, like he wants people to see him as a doer, and maybe that could help, and maybe that could put him in a tight position where he's thinking, I can't sack this man because it's going to come out that I've sacked him for being professional. So that means I'm not doing my job properly. Yeah. So sometimes you have to tie these people's hands where they want to do something, but you've exposed them to the public that whatever the decision they want to make on you, it's being pushed by being unprofessional. And that in itself could work, because a coach anyway, people listen to a coach. The people who maintain the game, who are the fans, they listen to a coach. Whatever even if he's sacked, but you see, like now we're talking about Brito, everyone still remembers that. Everyone still remembers that Brito was sacked because of A, B, C, D. Now for that to happen again, there can be an uproar, and some of these people don't want to be seen in that position. So it's hope. Like I said, we're not guaranteed anything, but it's hope that they will do the right thing. So at the moment, for everything that we've talked about today, there's the little piece of the puzzle. Who comes in as the coach? Because if they bring in someone who takes no for an answer for all these nepotism, bribes, all sorts of things that would happen, and he says no, then we're going to find out. We're going to find out whether what things are going to change. If they get someone who's attracted to money, who the sponsors can come and say, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, and they influence, then we might as well just even stop talking about football then. We might as well have this group, talking about Premier League and Spanish and Italian, because, there has to be change, and that's the only way we can have that change. Only way, one man is going to make the changes for us, and that's a coach, no one else.
Yeah, I think we patiently await. The Zifa boss was on the South African show. Was it yesterday or day before? Where he said he's going to. They're going to confirm the appointment by Monday or Tuesday probably. So
Okay.
Monday or Tuesday.
yeah. So we'll be waiting to see what they say on that.
Eagerly
Eagerly.
anticipating that.
Yeah, and we'll know we'll then know their method from from their choice and the choice of assistants.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've just been watching game Ramashi today. Yeah, they got beaten 3-0. Fortunately, they went 10 men down, so yeah, it was downhill from then. Today he seemed to be playing deeper. The coach seems to like him, but from what I'm seeing, I think the Wolves coach will be fired soon. And if he has not been fired already after the game, and I don't know if the next coach will be giving Marsha the game time he needs. Hopefully.
I've seen an article today, this morning, and it was from a popular Wolves media,
Yeah.
and it was talking about Mashi, and apparently it was saying that he's the most hardworking player in this side, and the coach loves him. But they were also saying that his output isn't great, and I think there has to be games that's got to be where he's got to be picked, in some games which someone with better technical ability should be playing, because apparently from when they win the balls, he loses too many balls as well. So it's almost like it's you win it, you give it back, you win it, you give it back, and it's that stat said that I think it said he is third in this season. I think it said that he'd been the third worst player in terms of losing possession.
Is it not because of where he will be positioned by the manager?
Yeah.
Because
So
if you are
so
next to the striker.
yeah, they mentioned the games as well. But I think they've mentioned the last two games, and they said one game, he lost possession like he lost the ball like like 6 times out of 9 times, and then the other one, he lost quite a lot of I think like he lost 7 balls as well. And they also mentioned the fact that he was being played further forward, which it hasn't really been his position. And so that's the reason why they were saying maybe sometimes there's a player who they mentioned that he probably needs sometimes to start, to enter, because he can get hold of the ball and do damage, from that end. And even though that would mean sacrificing the hard work, that Monetsi does. So it was, it was one of those, is the stats that he had. They were bad, though. They were bad, for Mashi, but they also gave him credit for what he does best as well, which is really like you run through the brick wall, for the side.
Yeah, that's interesting. And
Mm.
I think young Tawanda is currently playing. I think the Scottish League Cup. Unfortunately, they are 2-0 down. So
Who is that?
Tawanda Maswanise.
Oh,
Yes,
Maswani. Oh, okay,
yes,
Motherwell.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are 2-0 down currently, unfortunately. And then young Sean Fusire was playing today. They drew 0-0 with West Brom. He was being played as a right wing back. The
Okay.
manager seems to have given him a new position.
I heard I heard about that.
You see, it's things like this.
Being moved from,
Someone
I think the
who's
coach appreciated
playing
that.
week in, week out
Mm.
in championship is got to play in the Zimbabwe national team.
Yeah,
It's got to. You can say all what you want, when players come here, things change and all that. But you know what? The levels are just different. It's too high a level to but to not be playing in that.
Yeah. Then I've heard that Andy's currently training with Rotherham.
Rotherham, yeah.
Yeah, Rotherham. I've heard he's currently training with them. He's a free agent, so hopefully, if he's
It gets
training with
fun.
them, they can pick him up.
Yeah.
Because I think it's tricky to call him up if he's not
If he's
signed to
not
a
playing.
team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if he gets injured, then
If he
he has
doesn't have a club.
no insurance.
Insurance and all that, yeah.
He's no
Unless
insurance.
if he gets his own personal insurance, yeah.
Yeah, which is expensive.
Mm.
I work in insurance. We are.
Yeah, yeah.
Tunaita partner. Yeah,
Made a
and
partner.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's all for the players. What more notable player? I think if Scotland win tomorrow, they win the league because no one can catch them afterwards. So that's official, almost official.
Okay.
If they win tomorrow, they win the
Who are
league.
they playing?
Yeah.
I didn't check who they are playing, but I do expect them to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if money has already
To win.
flown, I'm joking. Sazotinyima raptor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I
Mari iri
think
kudzokera kwayakabva.
yeah, I think the top goal scorer where Zim League he scored another goal today, Navaya. He now has 17 goals.
Mm.
Um, I'm hoping he can get to 20 because it's been long since we last had a 20 goal. I think it was Maroto or someone
Mm.
uh, more than 10 years ago.
Oh
So
dear.
yeah, so
Listen,
hopefully,
this ndo pane problem ipapa. This problem yekugo
yeah,
tiri kutaura goscora ari kustruggle kusvika 20 goals.
yeah,
Haaland in his worst season, worst ever, was too huge between them. But 20 ngavasvikewo zvavo 20 21.
yeah.
But if you are struggling kusvika ikoko, and up to now
You are
I don't
breaking
know,
a little
kuti
bit.
as a country, are we just failing to? Hello?
Yeah.
You're breaking a bit.
Is it
I
any
don't
better?
know.
I'm still here. I can hear you. So I can hear you.
Okay,
Go on.
you can hear me. We've always had that problem of scoring goals. Up until now, nothing has been done. And is it as a nation, we just can't produce goal scorers? Is just sabotaging them from scoring, which is rounds back to my coaches and all that.
Mm.
Our coaches like of top quality, you
No,
see,
I
to
think
improve
in a
this guy's
nation
game.
where we have 80 teams in Division One as it stands, 80 teams in Division One, which means that the players who are going to be promoted to the Premier League are most likely to be substandard players because some of them are probably supposed to have been playing in the fourth division. But because we've got 80 teams in Division One, we've got a lot of chaff that gets promoted into the Premier League. So already the standards are very low. Two, the pitches that they are playing
In
in
other
Division
words, we have a
One,
rotten structure.
exactly. The pitches that they are playing in Division One, the professional registration of the clubs, everything is very down. So that's feeding into the Premier League, whereby you've got players who are supposedly in the Premier League, but they don't know the basics because yeah, they don't have any foundations. And scoring is probably the hardest thing to do in football. Uh, so if you
In
find
football, yeah.
yes, so if you find low scoring leagues, normally they are low quality leagues because scoring is the hardest thing. Technical ability, the ability to think fast, uh, but being able to slow down.
Decision making
Yes,
in that
decision.
final
Your
third.
decision. Yes, exactly. In the final third, um, like when you talked about Holland last time, there was a goal that he scored last 2 weeks. I'm forgetting the team that they were playing against. The motion that he used, it looked like a simple ball. It was a through pass from, was it Rangers or someone? It looked like a very simple motion that he used. Picked the ball with the right foot, but in the same motion he was finishing with the left foot, or within a millisecond he was able to decide. That thing, I guarantee you,
Yes.
if it was any other striker or a Zimbabwean PSL striker, wouldn't have been able to do that. So yeah, it comes down from how we've been coached, the foundations
Yeah,
and
and it's
everything.
not a coincidence. He scored a goal like that against Arsenal as well. I think
Yeah,
2 seasons
yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah. It's not a coincidence. It comes
You're
from.
like exactly the way you just described it. He scored it. Yeah. So it's
Hmm.
not something that he fluked. He has done it
Yes,
even before that. Mm.
yes, yes. So yeah, I think that's our main problem. Yeah. Uh, do you have anything? Liverpool is playing in an hour. I'm not sure I want to watch the game.
Well, they're playing tonight.
Yeah, I think we're playing tonight. We're playing Villa.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not really
Yeah,
looking
that's not
forward
an
to it
easy
because
game.
of our
We
form.
found out the hard way. We found out
Yeah,
the
you
hard
found out the hard way
way
last
last week.
week. Yeah, it seems Emery has picked
Yeah,
up the,
but
the team. But yeah, hopefully.
yeah, I'm not sure about that. You see, the way we played, we were just off. We were too slow. You see, we were being
Mm,
outrun by those guys in midfield. You see, and
okay.
these guys, I don't know for some reason why they were moving the balls too slowly. You see, it's the way City plays, they move the ball left, right, until they open the gap. Once in a while, you have to make a forward pass, like cutting through the crowd of the people.
Yeah,
My incisive passes. There were very
yeah.
few of those. And then the few times we tried to press, we were just
Mm,
not good enough, and then they would play through us, and then immediately they are attacking. I think something was
mm,
terribly off in that game. I don't know what it was, but we weren't at our best.
yeah,
So maybe Liverpool will deal with that better. We'll find out tonight.
yeah. We'll see. How did Mamush play? You you had concerns with him. I think he started last time.
Yeah. In the cup, yes, he played well. He played well. He scored a brilliant goal. Yeah. You see, that kind of Mamush is the kind of Mamush that everyone hoped for, or that
Yeah,
we love. You see, who is very decisive and
yeah,
who cuts through defenses with his pace and the dribbling skills. You see, we want to see more of that. But
yeah.
lately, he just used to hold on to the ball like if you are just outside the center circle
Mm,
and you are trying to hold on to the ball, pass and move, pass and move. And that's the
yeah,
philosophy of the coach.
yeah.
But
Probably
yes,
he felt pressure because
yeah,
Holland was not there, so he felt like he needed to be the
the
main
way
man.
he was, yes, you have to keep up
Yeah,
with Haaland.
yeah,
Yeah, probably he did. Yeah. So tomorrow, I would love to see him play.
yeah.
From the way I saw him play against Swansea, yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't mind if he's given a chance
Yeah,
to start. I think, but to play alongside Haaland,
yeah,
maybe not side by side, but maybe like from the left wing, Madoku.
Do you know? Oh dear.
yeah.
Fireworks. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, yeah. I can hear them.
Okay. Mm.
uh, so, you know, you mentioned that you were talking about the 80 teams, in Division One. Yeah. What have they done? Did they split them like into four
Yes,
different divisions?
yes, because they were saying because of
Different.
the costs, uh, the teams are not able to afford to travel countrywide, so they try to regionalize the Division One
They regionalized, and then so just one team gets
from each
promoted
region. Yeah,
from
from
each
each region.
region. So you're telling me? Is there Division 2?
Yes, it's. I think it's there, but I'm not sure how it's structured. My Division 2, but it's there. I'm not sure. Is it national or it's still my regions? So again,
Well, surely, why would you even have Division 2 if you've got Division 1, four Eastern, sorry, four regions, yeah? That's crazy. That's crazy. And uh, so you're playing 38 games to try to just be number one. But you
yeah,
get nothing for number two. Wow,
yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah. That's why
You
Kuchizita
know,
corruption.
it would have been it would
See,
have been
that's the
better
whole structure
if they said 17, 18, 19, 20 are coming out, yeah, and say like 16, six. So number 16 here, they um, effectively to say 16 to 20, get five teams out.
Hmm.
Get five teams out. The last, so they have the winners of the groups, four of them, yeah. Then the
Hmm.
last spot there, you do playoffs for the second place teams. Something, you can't just say outside number one. That's it. You really you've got to reward some. If someone gets to number two, they could have lost by
Hmm.
a point or a goal difference. Yeah,
Hmm.
then it's better if you just say, yeah, we've got four automatic spots and one which we do playoffs.
But does it not dilute those four regions? Does it not dilute quality of the Division 1? Because for me, the championships team must be very close to the Premier League teams in terms of quality and even stature,
quality of the
in terms
Premier
of
League.
how in terms of
But
how they are
but
run.
remember, these teams have, all the teams in the playoffs, have just missed out. Yeah, they've just missed out on because
Yeah.
they second, they finished first run
No,
up.
no. Yeah, I do agree with you with that method. I'm saying the Nduto Taura about the structure of having four Division 1 leagues, uh, all feeding into one Premier League.
That
Does
is
it not?
terrible. That is an
Yeah,
awful.
because if you,
It's not
I
a good
once went to
structure.
Philabusi. I was working for a bank in Zim, and we were doing some trips. So I went to Philabusi, and I watched I saw Pines Pane Ground, Red Division 1 team, Philabusi United.
Yeah,
I tell you, I was very, very disappointed and very angry. I was happy for them that they had something to look forward to by Philabusi Growth Point, but it was ground rataitambira kumabhuza kuchitungwiza riya riya rokuti rinenge ringori dust handiti.
it is just, yeah, yeah.
Yes, robva rangoiswa machoko, robva raiswa fans. That ground
That's
was
it.
the ground for a Division 1 team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think Gomitageta like you were to Patakatamba. Because in Sunday and caps I played division. Takatotamba division 2 promote when the division 1 unique select before I went to caps. Yeah.
yeah.
And the lucky thing there was unique select the home ground. They didn't get Guanzura, and Guanzura was still good.
Mm,
Yeah. And
mm,
kana Sulshansa Guanzura on the rare occasions they end up with Faro, which was still good, which was equally good as well.
mm,
Kana mchitamba away matimu mazhinji kwako kwawanda matimu ekumaini. Matimu
mm.
ekumaini esangane magiraundi
They
akanaka because
organize. Yeah.
vaigadzira je magiraundi whether kuti mukuenda kumangura, mukuenda kuairport flats, mukuenda kulancashire, mukuenda kupi kwese kuenda kwamutare, mukaenda matimu ekwamutare umaingonotamburawo kusakubva. So we never really had to play mapitch taimboonadzonga asinoita right, but majority of times they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very tricky. Yeah. Anyway, I think we can go on and on. For those who are watching, Thank you for being with us. Please do share the link of the live so that you can watch it later. And if you have any comments, your comments will be very valued. And yeah, we can continue the discussion, and hopefully the powers that may be can see what we are discussing about and take a few ideas. We know they won't implement, but sure, whatever once something is said, at least tinenge tapisa zviri pamwoyo pedu. Thanks Kelvin, thanks Al, thanks Ray, who's no longer here, thanks Bolas, who's no longer here. Do you have anything, any burning issues before we go? Besides that man you drew with Nottingham.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy, but it's football. It's football. Sometimes we've got to look at things, from a different perspective. It's 10 points in 4 games. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't always look at the negatives. You've got to look at the positives. It's 4 games unbeaten rather than four wins. It's 4 games unbeaten, 10 points.
Yeah.
So that's massive, especially if you think where we were only a few weeks ago. Yeah.
And yeah. Thank you guys. Buy a subscribe, buy a share, and yeah, we'll meet up next time. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.